Hi, this is the fifth part of a tutorial on creating a custom CRM application using a low-code, no-code platform, DaDaBIK. In the first part, we created an enterprise-ready custom CRM application without writing any code. No PHP, no JavaScript, no SQL. It was a no-code app. You could use it to register leads and prospects, convert them into customers, and perform the typical tasks you do on a CRM system. In the second and third and fourth part, we started the low-code development. I showed you how to add your own custom PHP and SQL code to improve the application. For example, using calculated fields and custom buttons, like this button, for example, convert this prospect. This is something we did last time. In this fifth part, I will continue the low-code development, but today I will show you how to add your custom JavaScript code. So far, we have only seen how to add PHP code, also SQL code actually, when we created views, but not JavaScript. Today we will discuss custom JavaScript. So the first thing I want to tell you is where you should write your custom JavaScript code. For PHP, there are several files, do you remember? So for calculated field functions, you have a dedicated file. For operational hooks, another file, and so on and so forth. For JavaScript, you have just one main file for all your code, customfunctions.js, this file. Then obviously, if you want, you can have other files and include those files from customfunctions.js. But customfunctions.js is the only file that DaDaBIK by default reads. So what can you do with JavaScript? The first thing I want to discuss is JavaScript Event functions. For each field, you can specify one or more event and a function, a JavaScript function, to trigger when that event occurs. Let's make a very simple example. Let's say that we want to automatically capitalize, so convert in uppercase, what the user types in the last name field. And we want to do it client-side using a JavaScript function we want to write, we want to provide to DaDaBIK. So let's write the function first, and let's call it DaDaBIK capitalize. So this is my simple function that, again, I wrote in customfunctions.js file. The function receives in input, so as a parameter, a reference to a field. Which field? The one we are applying this function to. And we will see in a minute how we will link this function to a specific field. And the code is very simple. We set the value of the field using the capitalized version of the value itself. This is just a standard JavaScript function to uppercase. Now, how can we tell DaDaBIK to use this function on a field? So, form configurator, let's say that again we want to apply this function to this field. So, customers table last name field. So form configurator, customers, last name. Let me set the parameter and then I will explain that. So JavaScript event functions for last name, customer's last name is onBlur DaDaBIK capitalize. This means, this is the name of the event, column, the name of the function. In particular, onBlur is the onBlur event is triggered when the HTML element loses the focus. So let's try, well, let's create a new customer test. So I'm writing lowercase, but now I'm pressing the tab button. So I'm leaving this field, and the content of the field is capitalized. Okay, so it is working. On blur was just an example. There are other JavaScript events, for example, on focus and on change. And you can add several events and related functions for each field. I suggest to read the inline help here, because I'm not going through all the details. In particular, consider that not all the JavaScript events are compatible with all the DaDaBIK field types. Okay? And this was one way, the first way I wanted to explain, I wanted to discuss, to add your JavaScript code to a DaDaBIK application. Another way is by using custom buttons. We have seen custom buttons in the previous episode of this tutorial, but we have only seen PHP custom buttons, so buttons that trigger the execution of PHP code. For example, this one was a PHP custom button. But you can also trigger the execution of JavaScript code. Let's make an example. So first, I will show you the result I want to get and then how to do it. This is my companies table. Just a quick reminder, our customers belong to companies. So each company can have one or more customers, or leads or prospects. Let's say that when we receive orders, we then have to deliver these orders. So we need an address. I added a delivery address for each company. Typically, you need at least, a field for the street, for the number, then zip code, city, country. But to simplify a little bit, I've used just two fields: street, containing street name and number, and city. Okay? And let's say that we also need an additional address, the invoicing address, that most of the time is the same as the delivery address, but could be different. So here I created a custom button that, using JavaScript, copies the delivery address to the invoicing address. So if the address is the same, the user can just click it without typing again the same values. Here we have just two fields. So let's make a very simple test. Copy, here we go. So I was saying that here we have just two fields, but we could have many fields to copy. And of course, the more fields you have, the more is the time you save by using the copy button. So now let's see how to implement this copy button. So first of all, of course, you have to create these 4 fields. I'm not going through the whole process because it's very easy. Basically, from data, companies, here I have the fields. You have to add the 4 fields. You have to add the permissions to the field in order to show the fields in your forms, and you have to configure the fields. There isn't much to configure. The only thing I did was adding this separator, and I told DaDaBIK to put the 2 fields in a row instead of one under the other. That was what I did in Form Configurator. What about the button? So now I deleted, alright, so I deleted the button configuration, so we don't have the button anymore, so we can go through the creation of the button together. let's see how to proceed. So this is custombuttons.php, the file we used last time to create a PHP button. I'll create another button. Even if it's a JavaScript button this time, we still have, since it's a custom button, we have to configure the button in the custombuttons.php file. So I just copy this button and paste it here. And then I edit the parameters. Okay. So first of all, in which table or view we want to create the button? We are in the companies table. Okay. So instead of prospects, companies. Then type is not a PHP standard button, it's a JavaScript button. Callback function. This is the name of the JavaScript function that DaDaBIK will call when the button is clicked. So we can call it DaDaBIK copy address. Permission needed. We want to show this button in the insert form. So we need the insert permission to see the button. And again, yes, we want to show it in the insert form. So here we are saying in which form. We can have also several forms, as we said last time. And here the permission we need. Position, we want to show the button close to this field. The name of this field was delivery city, delivery_city. So delivery city. And the label will be copy to invoice address. And it's a fixed label. Background, well, we can keep it as it is, or maybe we want, I don't know, a more red button, something like this. So let's see if DaDaBIK displays the button. Okay, copy to invoice address. Right now it doesn't work because we have to write the DaDaBIK copy address function first, but it is displayed. So let's see the code of the function now that I already wrote. Here we go. Just 2 lines of code. This is, standard JavaScript. Basically, I'm setting the value of invoicing city, that is this field, using the value of delivery city, that is this field. And here, of course, I'm setting the value of invoicing address, this one, using the value of delivery address, this one. Maybe it's a bit confusing because the name of the field I used was not street, it was address, but it's just the name of the field. Okay, and this is just standard JavaScript. So document get elements by name, and getting an element using its name, invoicing address. Why we have 0? Because theoretically you could have more than one element having the same name in a page. However, so this is the first of these elements, the element having index 0, but actually it will be the only one, at least if it's a standard page generated by DaDaBIK and you are in a form. Okay, so each field has of the form has a unique name. So unless you add some elements to the form using the same name that the form fields that one of the form fields has, you won't get duplications. Okay, so again, this is standard JavaScript code. In case you prefer to use jQuery, jQuery is already loaded by DaDaBIK, so it's ready to use. That's an alternative you have. And what else? This is just an example. What we said for PHP custom buttons is also true for JavaScript custom buttons. It's your custom JavaScript code. You can do whatever you want. You can read the content of the form, you can manipulate the content of the form, you can add elements to your pages, you can call external APIs. It's really up to you. Okay? Also, you can include in your custom functions.js file, this file, external JavaScript modules and libraries, and use them in the standard DaDaBIK CRUD pages, like this one, but also in your custom PHP or HTML pages. We haven't seen custom pages yet. We will do it in the next episode. Basically, a custom page is a page that belongs to a DaDaBIK application, but it's not a standard CRUD page created by DaDaBIK according to your settings. So it's not a form page. It's not a grid, a data grid page. It's not a chart report page, and so on. It's a custom page. You create its content. So basically, this part is not generated by DaDaBIK in a custom page. You generated in PHP, HTML, JavaScript. In the next episode, we will do that, and we will include Canvas.js. That is a charting library, and we will use it to create a funnel for our CRM application. And finally, we will show the funnel in a custom page. And this is a little preview of what we will do. So that's it for today. If you have questions, you can post a comment here. And yeah, so see you next time. Ciao!